Yeah, another day, another video. This time I mentioned last time those two lenses that you can see here in the background. Both of them are Canon lenses and they're very different, although they may appear to be very similar. Let me show you a couple of all those. Oh, by the way, I do actually also use sometimes native Micro Four Thirds lenses, and this is one of my favorite Micro Four Thirds lenses of all time. Yeah, that's the Panasonic Lumix 20mm f1.7. It's an absolutely astonishing lens. It's super sharp, has very good contrast, absolute amazing color rendition. It's very good with flares. It's really one of my favorite lenses, and obviously it's also very pocketable. Yeah, very small, nice and small, pocketable. You can use it obviously, with manual focus. This is the only thing that you find on it, the manual focus ring. Obviously, in Micro Four Thirds speak, that means fly-by-wire manual. Yeah, there's no real connection between this and the lens. It's fly-by-wire, only works electrically with all those contacts, and it's an amazing lens. With f1.7 you get very nice depth of field control, and you can take shots literally in the dark. It's really amazing, and it's best for what I would call environmental portrait shots. So when you show either a group of people or the upper torso with the environment in the background, very nice lens. Yeah. And size-wise, very comparable actually. The Canon lens here, 50mm. But of course, to these you need to add an adapter, and this adapter adds quite something to it. For instance, like here in the case of the Seiko lens. Yeah. At the moment, the camera is actually filming, like all the movies I've done so far here, showing lenses, have been filmed with a Seiko lens. I like this Seiko lens so much. I want a second one, and here's my second Seiko lens. Yeah, size-wise, this is the adapter. It adds quite a lot, obviously, because of the back focus. Now, let's come to the main subject. Today's two lenses. Yeah, one you might have seen or heard or something, and this one is the my favorite birding lens at the moment, the Canon FD 300mm f1.4. Not the L version, just the FD version. Yeah, so that is a 300mm lens, which on a Micro Four Thirds camera, of course, has the same field of view as a 600mm lens, which is of course quite amazing. And I shoot with this handheld, and that's about as big as I want to go, really. I would not want to go any bigger, and I see this video is a bit washed out, so let's just change the aperture slightly so the camera can cope. And this is of course the advantage of using manual lenses. You can tell the camera what to do. Now back to the Canon FD lens. It comes with an amazing fixture here. I actually don't take it off for birding because it's very easy to hold the lens like this, because it's bent very nicely. And this is of course the tripod mount. It's very easy to detach. Yeah, very easy. Off it goes, and you can hold the lens like this. It saves you a little bit of weight, but actually not that much. The surest way to lose this tripod fixture is of course to not have it on the lens, put it somewhere, and then you lose it. So it's got a nice big white sign on it, so you know exactly where it's at, and it really holds very nicely. And this is the focusing bit, the focusing ring, internal focusing, fantastic. It's a dream. It's smooth, lovely, precise. That's what you want for a lens for birding. The optics are very good on this example. It's very good. And this lens has been designed to be actually shot wide open, with the very nice adapter for Canon. And the adapter for Canon is really very useful, because I do hate Canon's Canon's bayonet is horrible. It's really horrible. There's no way of quick changing it. Yeah, you have to fix the position in open first, and then you've got to undo it. Yeah, and if you want to use your aperture, you've got to follow this exactly the same way. You've got to put it on, and then you've got to put it on lock. It's really ridiculous, and sometimes you swing it to open, and then you've got no aperture control. So I'm really thinking of buying several of these adapters, so I don't have to change the silly Canon bayonet anymore, but use the very fast and convenient Micro Four Thirds adapter instead. And there's one very ugly addition that I made to this lens. Yeah, it's this cable tie. But the advantage is, imagine you hold the camera like this, yeah? This is where your hand is, this is where your camera holds it. You have that bird inside, and with the cable tie you make sure it's on f4. If, by any chance, you're getting into 1/4000, so the camera can't cope with the light, easy. You don't have to take your eyes off the bird, very easy. It's easier than doing this, very easy. So you have a hold on the camera, you have still a finger on the trigger, and you can change. With a flick of a finger you can change the aperture. It's very great. It's a really great help as well. And to not damage the camera, I put some pieces of silicone under, so obviously if I keep it for years like this, it will leave marks, unfortunately, I guess, but let's hope not. A very useful addition. And the lens comes with a hood. I like this hood, yeah. It stands, and then you can fix it. There's only one problem I have with this hood. You can't fix it in the down position. So it moves in the down position, so when you carry it around in your rucksack or whatever you use, then that's bad. In this position it protects the glass very nicely, and together with the metal lid, yeah, very good protection for this massive front element. Now, this is not the lens I originally wanted, but that's probably the lens I can afford. I wanted the L version of this lens, so low dispersion glass or lower dispersion glass than this one, and it shows a little bit of chromatic aberration. But that is really not a problem at all these days. I use a Lightroom, and with 2 clicks, literally all the CA is gone, and the picture quality is actually not deteriorated. And the difference is, roughly speaking, 200–300 pound in the price that the lens will fetch. And I'm really glad that I got this very nice kit here. And I think I'll keep it for a while, yeah. And there won't be an L lens coming anytime soon. And it's really good fun taking pictures of birds with this, and I'll probably show you some at some point when they get better, because it's still very difficult to get them, obviously, particularly when they're moving. Now this is another Canon lens, and that is a lot older than this Canon lens, and that's actually a video lens. Yeah, that's a professional video lens that was on a broadcast video machine, and it comes with an adapter. So the adapter part starts here, yeah, and this would have been on a video recorder, twice the size maybe of this. And that lens, if you buy it today with the same optical specifications, sets you back 30 grand. In the good old days, when this lens was brand new, it set you back 10 grand. And obviously it also comes with an electric motor, so all the controls here, you can control the zoom, you can control the focus, you can control the aperture, all electrically. Obviously my Micro Four Thirds camera can't do that, so I removed it. Yeah, it's all still there. And this is obviously the gearing system for it. Yeah, these were the gears. And you see the aperture moves very smoothly and it's not inhibited at all. My lens did not come with a lever, so I put a lever on, piece of silicone with a screw, fits very nicely. And then you've got these rubber bands on. What do you use them for? Now imagine the lens is like this, that's what you look for. And when you do videos, you don't want to mess around with all these focusing and God knows what. So what you do is you mark on the rubber band the 3–4 positions that you will need for that video, yeah. And that's how you move it. You can creep, zoom, it's amazing, yeah. And this is the focusing ring, yeah. So you also mark the positions of the focus, yeah. And the nice thing with this lens is it's parfocal. Many lenses are parfocal. The Panasonic 100–300 is also parfocal, but Panasonic doesn't announce it as being parfocal because depending on the single lens, the parfocal capability is very easily lost with slight misalignments, and I had to align this lens to make it parfocal. What does parfocal actually mean? And these are what these buttons are here, because it's also a macro lens. Parfocal means you focus when you zoomed in, yeah. So you zoom in, you focus. That's obviously when it counts most, because you see most of the details, yeah. With my Panasonic G5 I can then enhance the picture and zoom in as well, just to see whether it's in focus, and then you can focus out and the focus stays at exactly the same position. It does not change. Parfocal, fantastic lens, and it is a lens that goes from 9mm to 117mm, so it's an amazing range, and you can actually shoot wide open at 1.6 f1.6. It gets fantastically sharp at f2, f2.8. If people move around during the video, f4 is pretty good, but f1.6 perfectly usable. Yeah, you see a difference in stills, but obviously stills have a much higher resolution than video. So for video, it doesn't really matter that it gets a bit soft at f1.6, and you can get amazing effects with this. Now this is a B4, Canon B4, and obviously the B system. That was in use. The video recorders had a sensor that was maybe half the size of a Micro Four Thirds sensor, so it does not cover the whole field of view. However, this lens comes with an extender here, so you can basically zoom in. Yeah, if I do not zoom in, then you can see here the field of view is quite narrow. The diameter is too small for the sensor. I flick the switch and now the whole sensor is covered. No vignetting, nothing. What happens, of course, is that this 9mm becomes 18mm, yeah, and the 117 becomes 234, yeah, and that is still very usable even in closed rooms. You can imagine how close you could have got with this lens if you weren't using Micro Four Thirds. It's an absolute astonishing lens. It makes fantastic videos. You can zoom in, and this is another of my additions, just so that the line of sight is better aligned and easier to make. It's an amazing lens, and if these come up for sale somewhere, I got this from eBay from the United States, grab them. They're fantastic. And mine came with this super duper adapter for Micro Four Thirds, built absolutely sturdy, and obviously this is a heavy beast. It's nearly as heavy as the Canon here, and obviously on a system like this, you don't put the lens on the camera. What you do is you put the camera on the lens. So actually the lens hangs off the camera, yeah? The camera hangs off the lens, so it comes with an extremely sturdy lens mount, for videos and for stills. Very good. So this is how it holds on the mount, and the camera just hangs off it. And yeah, I should make some videos for this channel with this lens, just to show off how flaming good it is. And I will pretty soon, maybe in a couple of days or so, and see how the weather holds up. At the moment it's quite nice. Go outside and zoom and pan, and it's just amazing. Something you cannot do with full manual control with any of the native lenses, and this is an amazing lens. If you have a chance, to get a hold on it, grab one. There it goes. And it says macro. Well, I can't use it for macro because I had to adjust it so that the macro range really is very small. This is the macro lever. I had to adjust it to be parfocal for the back focus of my Micro Four Thirds. It's very easily to adjust. If you want to know how, just ask, whatever. It's very easy. And it's the Canon Macro TV Zoom, an amazing lens. Yeah, this was it for today. A bit long as well, so I hope you enjoyed that. Found that interesting. Thanks for looking.